Now, if you're driving around the countryside and see a field full of silver, then the chances are it's a solar farm. They're springing up across the region, a carbon-free way of generating electricity.
But of course they are also controversial. To lots of people, they're a blot on the landscape. Well, now the owners of one of the biggest in Cambridgeshire says not only are they producing green power, they've also been good for wildlife.
A Cambridgeshire field for harvesting, but not of crops, but of the sun. Row after row, the wide gaps between the panels are so the shade doesn't encroach on the light.
How does this work?
The sun comes down and hits the silicon cells with the aluminium connectors, and each of these cells, 60 on a module, are linked up and ultimately enter into the inverter over there that you can see in the background, and from the inverter.
And on a grey day like this, will this actually work today?
If you feel actually the panels are not hot.
They're warm though.
That's right. While they're not hot, they actually are very, very efficient, and much more efficient than, for example, in Italy and Spain. And that's why in the UK we actually generate a lot more solar power than you would anticipate.
Wilburton Solar Farm is the largest in our region. Today I visited just one small section of it, installed 3 years ago.
There are over 20,000 panels here, over 31 acres, which can power 1,400 homes a year.
Solar farms have been criticised as a blot on the landscape, but here, largely undisturbed, nature is working around it. While we were filming, we saw hares, a kestrel, and evidence of something bigger, a badger set.
Some people aren't comfortable with farmland like this being used for solar farms.
Understandable, and we were very careful about choosing the fields. This particular field is not grade 1 agricultural, and 3 years ago certainly we would not be seeing this badger set. So it is an opportunity for the land to rejuvenate and to increase the biodiversity here.
Wilburton was extended last year. This is the whole site from the air. The country's largest solar farm is now 6 times the size of this. And when the lease on this land runs out in 25 years, the company says the structures can simply be pulled down and recycled, and the land returned to crops. Louise Hubble, BBC Look East.